line. Check the radio, pit crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 In love with the ride. Burning rubber smells real nice. Fuel it up once or twice. Come on, fast is the way to drive. Crowds all on their feet. Not one bothered by the heat. Imagine them in the driver's seat. Checkered flag would be sweet. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Everybody get ready. On your feet. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Crank it up. Crank it up. Oh, it's race day. 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 Crank it up.
Alright, race fans, welcome here to Pizza Race TV live from Lebanon, Tennessee's Nashville Super Speedway as we're about to set sail for the action at hand. Rock it out and rock a little bit with us here on the show. It's time for the Fast and Fun Champion Power Equipment Cup Series, presented in part by our friends over at Champion Power Equipment. The best power generators on the market and the best tools for the job. Champion Power Equipment is the way to go. Be sure to visit them up at www.championpowerequipment.com and check out their social media platform handles at Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for more information on their product line. And yes, race fans, here in Lebanon, Tennessee, the Nashville Super Speedway, not the fairgrounds, obviously, as some probably were expecting us to be at, but still a very sizable crowd on hand today, over 35,000 attendants right now on the stage, on the track. Huge field of drivers coming down to the show. 19 of the best right now have locked and loaded up to get onto the track as they currently try to figure out how really tough it is to put literally Bristol Moore Speedway onto a 1/3 of a 1 mile and a third long length track. I say Bristol because, well, really, this is a concrete style track configuration. Very tight ends, very tight corners to work around. It obviously kind of looks very similar to some cookie cutters you may know out there, but really with this track here, this one thing you're going to have to watch out for without a shadow of a doubt. It's your cornering, and it's going to be also your pace. If you dictate the right runs, you can hang on, but these Next Gen Cup cars absolutely will have a test on their hands throughout this race and throughout this battle. Watch for the drivers early on to be a little bit smoother, a little bit more under control, but as the race starts to break down, you'll start to see them kind of migrating up a little bit, and they're setting up that way here. So right now, as we currently get ready for everything on the show, I do have my special guest and partner coming on board here in a minute. Dustin Sonaker will be joining us now here. Actually, here he is right now joining me in. Dustin, a little bit late to the party, but hey, welcome to the show, brother.
Hey, yeah, I'm just getting in here. Had to kind of run up the steps here a little bit here, just running a little bit behind, but here I am with you now.
Hey, running a little bit behind. I mean, heck, I thought for now you'd be a Tennessee boy. You know how to run here at Nashville Super Speedway.
Oh, do I? I might know a thing or two about Nashville Super Speedway. Still haven't gotten in victory lane yet, but you never know.
We'll figure it out later, but anyway, my friend, you know it's that time of day again. We got some drivers that are ready to chat with us, and we're ready to head down to them. Are you ready to listen in with them?
Yeah, let's bring some fellas in here and see what they got to say about what's going on down there.
Okay, well, while you get settled up on your end, I'll go ahead and chat with these boys and get back with you here in a little bit. So, let's get started off here, race fans. We're going to talk with our drivers. The first on the lineup, in piloting in the number 76, your third on the practice line, Caleb Forsyth. Caleb, right now, bud, currently tied out with top 3 literally in the practice session. Got to be a little bit of a boost of confidence knowing you got some speed under that thing today.
Yeah, and I'm running race set too. I haven't even touched the quality set, so we'll see what it'll do. Hope I'll hang in there. Biggest thing is just staying clean and not dying.
So, what's going to be the big difference here for you in the qualifying set versus this race set in your case? Like, how much looser does that qualifying set get in your case?
I don't. I think I'm just going to stay in the race set. Honestly, it's so it's planted so well. There's really no reason to change it.
Yeah, definitely a bit of an interesting strategy here. Well, I'm going to ask you this too. With that race set here, I know you've been putting a lot of laps out on the track. What's the one thing you're noticing that this track compared to, like, say, other mile and a halves here, considering you're going from an asphalt to a concrete?
The biggest difference in this track and other mile and a half is just how hard it is to pass somebody. So track position is going to be everything. Track position, tire wear, that kind of stuff. It's one thing to drive fast in hot laps, but being able to drive fast for a long period of time, that's going to be another challenge. But
Yeah.
definitely want to be up front because the high line is not super friendly in these cars here. If you can get a nose on somebody, you can get around them, but it'll eat your tires to death.
For sure.
So really just getting up front and hanging out and pacing some laps.
Definitely there. Well, nevertheless, this fire department coffee number 76 definitely has some speed on that bottom in the middle. So, Caleb, we'll let you figure the rest out and hope for the best, bud. Good luck out there.
Thank you, sir.
Caleb Forsyth, ladies and gentlemen, the number 76 on the call with us. Currently, I got our drivers right now squared up on the track. It's time to listen in with some other boys down here. The number 9 of Eli Childs joins us now here on the show. And Eli, currently right now, hot laps not doing too favorably as you're a little bit down in position, but obviously that's just the race setup, isn't it?
Yeah, we're kind of working on some quality stuff now, but nothing too serious here. I think we got a good elite performance race set, so even if we screw up qualifying, I think we'll race fine.
So with this mad number 9 obviously getting ready to put up onto the fight, put onto the track here, I'm going to ask you this too, the same thing I asked Caleb, which is how difficult for you has it been to transition from asphalt to concrete, and what do you think the drivers are going to be thinking about here late in this run?
I don't think the transition is too bad. Nashville doesn't seem to eat tires as bad, at least not in trucks. I ran a lot of truck races this week, and it didn't seem to be as bad. So I really haven't noticed much of a difference, but we could see something later in the run that may contradict that.
For sure there. Well, nevertheless, Josh, you got your hands full with a lot of stuff on the mind and a lot on the plate, but nevertheless, the number 9 is holding up strong here as we get ready for your showcase.
Appreciate it.
Eli Childs, ladies and gentlemen, the number 9, piloting the Mad 9 machine here. Sparky, have you gotten things figured out down there on your end yet?
Well, yeah, I think we do. At least I could see all the drivers out on the racetrack currently going around here practicing now, so I think we're getting on the right track here.
Well, that's better than usually what you're used to dealing with me on the show, so that's good news at least.
at least the gremlins haven't gotten a hold of me yet.
No, I kind of hope they stay away from you here, because, I mean, we like having you on the show. We don't like losing you this quickly.
Oh, no. That would be a definite travesty if I ended up having some kind of quiet or kind of weird exit there. So hopefully we don't have that problem at all.
I mean, we set you up perfectly to say we don't want to have any problems, but you literally just kind of missed the mark, so we'll just leave it at that.
No, I guess that's my first problem of the night, I suppose.
You kind of ruined that one, all right. But let's take some more time talking to some of our drivers here. Race fans joining me now here in the number 34, Robert Lawrence here, as he's currently tied here with the top 3 in still hot laps anyway. Robert, I mean, it's been a while since we've seen you been really tied with the top spots and really seen you have some speed on the track, but I mean, does speed correlate here to a long run you're set up here, or what's going on down here with this 34 today?
Well, I think we're going to be a little sneaky. You're probably going to see not so great things out of us at the beginning, but towards the end, we'll show up.
So I'm presuming with that in mindset, it's going to be try to be sneaky wise. You're going to try to actually kind of lay low and kind of make sure these guys are caught off guard before you start to really put on the full juice and the horsepower down there.
Exactly. The big thing here is tire wear and heat cycles. And the more heat you get into these tires, the less they want to cooperate. So if you can keep the temperatures down longer, the better. She's a bit of a wild animal here. It may not look like it, but it's going to be interesting.
For sure there. All right, Robert. Well, we appreciate you coming on board here today. Best of luck as we get ready to set them on down to the track.
All right, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Robert Lawrence representing Frobel Sim Performance here on the show. We'll get one more driver in real quick, and then as soon as Dustin makes sure he's got some drivers on the track, we'll let him choose a driver. But we're going to bring in now the number 35, ladies and gentlemen. Tyler Meeks joins us on the call. Tyler, got a copy?
Go ahead.
Well, right now, currently we're watching you play down some practice laps. How you feeling, man?
I don't like Nashville.
What? Well, I mean, at least they're blunt about it compared to some other drivers we usually hear from.
Yeah, I never really liked this track. I can't get the concept of going around it down. Everybody else is faster than I am, so I'm trying to get as much practice laps in as I can.
So with that in mind too, it seems like you're trying to kind of focus in on where most of the drivers are running on here. Have you kind of noticed any things with your tire wear and how you kind of handle the track, if you will, with that?
Right now I'm on a run to try to get my tires to equalize to when I go back in the pit, see where my hot air pressures are at. So hopefully I can get them equal on both sides. I'm going to go for trying to get the right sides the same hot air pressure as the left. Not the same exact number, but more like, I don't know, let's like 30 on the left's hot, 50 on the right's hot, trying to get them to equalize the same.
Maybe you can explain for the viewers at home too real quick, like kind of what does that do for the car and like how does that kind of be more of a temperamental end for the long haul or the short runs in this racing?
Well, it just helps it balance out. That way I don't have a right rear that's 60 pounds with hot air in it and the right front at 50. Kind of, if I can get them both at 55 and meet in the middle, it'll help equalize the tires out and give us a little bit more balance to the car.
Sure there. All right. Well, nevertheless, Tyler here. We really appreciate your time here, and thank you for giving them a little info on the track. Best of luck as we get ready to bring you down in.
No problem. Thank you. Have fun.
Absolutely. 35, ladies and gentlemen. Tyler Meeks on the call. Sparky,
Yes.
you want to pick somebody?
Sure. I already have somebody in mind. I'm sure this is a guy that you probably, I don't know if you would rather talk to, but somebody I don't mind talking to once in a while, and that would be, do we have Brad Thacker on the line?
I mean, you really just asked for a guy that just jumped into the Discord. You know that, right?
That was good timing.
Ladies and gentlemen, our young league friend himself in the 56, John Brad Thacker.
What's going on, guys?
Well, as usual, Dustin wanted to hear from you. You heard the call and you said, I'm on top of the bell curve now, so here you are, my friend.
Yeah, I'm slow. I don't know what's. I mean, I guess every day I'm slow, but I feel really slow today.
Well,
And,
well, you're not slow to take the cone out or take yourself out while
Cone
you're
got
at
me
it.
back, man. I went full Keselowski on the cone. So,
It's about time the cone got you back.
yeah, it was just a matter of time.
We've been,
Just a matter of time.
we've been broadcasting like 2 years with you guys, and the cone never got you once until now. Without a
Yeah.
without a wall on the inside, he actually got you on the outside.
Pretty good odds. I'll take those odds. So I'm still winning the war against the cones.
I guess one off of the cone don't mean nothing to him. Anyway,
Yeah.
Brad, I gotta ask you, man. What's going on with the speeds? Why you say a little bit slow? Is it maybe just a little bit of the tempo with the track, or do you feel like there's something else to it?
The wheelbase and the curves. Oh wait, wrong league. I've always hated Nashville. I've just never figured it out, and I've always trying to run with keeping the tires in mind and not burning them up. And I can never get into the mindset of laying down a fast lap after I do that.
For sure.
If I get a top 10 today, it will be a miracle.
Yeah, I mean, we always said motorsports, expect the unexpected. Some things can just change on a dime, so.
And you know what we say in NPR? First through 19th, that's a 1 and a 2.
Yes, yes, we're very well aware of that there. Alright, Brad, thank you for your time here, man. Let's see what
All right,
happens on the
man.
track.
Y'all take it easy.
You too. Well, he's definitely on the curve at least to get himself an NPR finish. That's, you guys can take that for what you will.
I'm glad those NPR guys actually, actually set a goal. I mean, at least they're trying to attain that goal every race. So at least they got some standards there.
Some standards, and yet here they are literally just trying to race out the field and with the best here. And speaking of some of our better drivers here, let's take a listen in with one of our guys right now. The 81 of Harley Barletta joins us on the call. Harley, we've seen you rock it and roll it with pretty much every car in the book, from the shortest wheelbases to the bigger wheelbases, and now you have to get back into this next-gen Cup car and have to take on Nashville Super Speedway. I've got a feeling that some of that experience you've learned from the other tracks, though, is not going to translate too much here, is it?
No, it's not. It's a concrete track too, and I haven't run these cars on concrete. I don't think. I might have, but I don't know. We're just gonna hang around and see what we can do.
Now, hanging around here as well, I mean, you're going to have a lot of positions to have to work around and have a lot of things you got to get to as well. How difficult and treacherous can this track be for this 81 machine today?
Pretty bad. I'm struggling with real tight end, and there's a giant bump in the middle of 3 and 4 that just like breaks the car loose every single lap. So that's gonna be a lot of fun.
For sure there. All right, well, nevertheless, though, as you get ready to field them in and face them off, we'll see if this one holds up today. Best of luck, Harley.
Thanks, Chris. We'll talk to you.
Absolutely. The 81 Harley Barletta, ladies and gentlemen. All right, Sparky, your pick.
All right, let's see. Let's get somebody that's somewhere near the top of the practice board here, or somewhere near the top 10 here. Let's see. Let's see if we can get Brian Lozano on here with us.
Yeah, why not? Let's get the number 77 driver in here real quick. Former top 4 driver and a former champion in his own right. Ladies and gentlemen, Brian Lorenzo on the call.
Hey, what's up?
Not much here. Dustin wanted to bring you in and have a little word too. So, Dustin, I'll let you take it from here, bud.
Right. Okay. Hey, what's up, Brian?
Hey, what's up? I'm doing good.
How are you feeling about tonight? Out here being on the concrete here tonight?
I'm feeling pretty good. It seems like it's gonna be a tire wear race all night, and that's where I specialize. So I'm pretty excited.
That seems like who we basically when we've talked to the other drivers so far, that seems to be the key. It seems like tire wear is really going to be a big thing. How much of a tire wear is it going to be here tonight?
It's pretty much gonna be the game all night. After the first 10 laps, you'll already see who has pace versus who can actually save their tires. You can see who burned their tires after 10 to 15 laps, and once you burn them up, your run is done.
So pretty much what you're saying is at this point, pretty much just kind of take it kind of easy those first couple laps, and then just watch everybody else fall off and pick them off one at a time, right?
Yep.
All right. Well, that sounds like a pretty good plan to me. I like that plan for tonight.
All right, well, Lorenzo, we do appreciate coming on board here today as well, sir, as we get ready to hit up some more of your 3Y Motorsports teammates. Best of luck down here in Nashville, my friend.
Thank you. I'm gonna need that.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, the 77 driver, Brian Lorenzo, on the call here and on the talk. And, Sparky, don't get too excited down there, but we have a friend of ours that returns to the show.
Oh, and who might that be?
He's not quite on the grid yet, but I do see a number 3 driver, and he goes by the name of TJ Majors. You guys can probably take 2 guesses on that one.
Oh, interesting.
For those that don't know, TJ Majors is one of the spotters down there for the NASCAR drivers there, ranging from the Haley Deegans to the Joey Logano's, and as well working with, right now, I believe, working with Brad Keselowski on the number 6 team, I believe, as well. So great to see TJ Majors back with us here on the show, and we'll see how he does in the race today.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be fun to watch him out there. Like you said, he's got a lot of experience, not just spotting. He's actually driven cars before, So he's got a lot of experience out there. So it is going to be quite a pleasure to see him out here and see what he can do against these boys tonight.
Yeah, I'll give him this as well. He's a heck of a dirt driver. He knocked me out completely in the truck series at Bristol Dirt a long time ago. I got to give him mad respect for that. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right, guys, let's bring in some more drivers here. Let's listen in the big 55 machine. I think you guys might know the name. James Harris now joins us on the line.
What's going on, guy?
Going pretty good, my friend. So, James, right now, it's not been the greatest season as the defending champion, as we've known, but you still got speed. You still got the usual runs you can try to bring to the table. What's going to be the difference today?
Today here is going to be tire management and pacing yourself for long runs, if we have them. You know, I like the long green flag runs, and that's what I'm best at, and that's what I'm praying for today.
Trying to pray for that, and coming out with a little bit of Godspeed kind of car here today. Obviously, I'm seeing an Independence Day, number 55 on that. What's with the scheme going here today, sir?
Well, I figured I would do a red, white, and blue scheme since July 4th is coming up next week.
Well, not a bad plan, not a bad idea, my friend. So, James, as we get ready to go here, this last thing I'm going to ask you, it's how much time do you think it takes before everybody just burns their equipment up and you can start kind of making some moves on them as you've been seemingly getting more into those long runs as of late?
Keep an eye on me around 7 to 10 laps into a run, and hopefully I think around then I'll be making moves to the guys that burn them up too early.
For sure there. All right, James. Well, we appreciate your time today. You're my friend. Best of luck out here.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
James Harris, ladies and gentlemen, the 55. All right, Dustin, I'll give you another chance. One last driver.
One last driver. Let's see. Let's see if we can get Kyle Holden in here.
I want to listen in to Kyle Holden, number 5 machine, huh?
Yeah, he's got a nice little paint scheme he's driving tonight too, I noticed.
I have not seen it, so we'll bring Kyle Holden in right now, ladies and gentlemen. He is on the call.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Going pretty good. Dustin?
Hey Kyle, how's it going, buddy?
Well, it's going great, you know, just driving out here at Nashville Super Speedway, hoping to get a top 5 or something like that tonight, but we'll see how she goes.
Hey, got a nice looking ride out there tonight there on that number 5 machine tonight. Definitely, like I spoke with the other drivers, they're all talking about tire management tonight. You kind of going with that same plan too, kind of just wait about, looks like about 10 to 15 laps and then pick them off one at a time?
Yeah, I mean, this track is really abrasive on the tires, so we're going to try to just wear our tires as evenly as possible on the right front and the right rear, and hopefully we'll be able to just pull away. But we'll see what happens here, and this track is quite a handful.
Yeah, that's what everybody else is saying. This is quite a handful. Was it quite a different in these cars compared to the old Gen 6s?
Yeah, it's a lot tighter than the Gen 6s. The Gen 6 had some side force, which will allow you to kind of be able to have more on throttle coming out of the exit. So without having that here and an independent rear suspension, it kind of makes it a little weird coming out of the corner. So if you have a good setup, you'll be running real good well here. If you have a bad setup, you're just going to fall back.
All right, man. Well, good luck to you tonight. Good luck at qualifying.
Appreciate it.
All right, race fans, we're set to go for the action. Before we enter into qualifying, ladies and gentlemen, I want to give a big thanks again to our friends at Champion Power Equipment. If you guys need the best power generators on the market, there's only one brand name to trust in, and that is with our friends at Champion Power Equipment. Make sure to check them out at championpowerequipment.com. Their social media platforms to see all their latest deals with Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Big thank you to Champion Power Equipment for their support as we continue on with the Fast and Fun Champion Power Equipment Cup Series here on Pete's Race TV. Dustin, we had a lot of great speeds, a lot of great drivers kind of topping up on the leaderboards here, but honestly, I think it could be a bit of a crapshoot when it comes to who makes the best time, who makes the best run here. It's going to be a bit of a wild guessing game.
It is, and like we've already talked to some of these guys already, you know, some of them are going to wait till about 10 to 15 laps before they start actually trying to push it a little bit, watch everybody else fall off the pace. But I still think it's a good idea to try to get a good starting spot here at least, so at least you don't fall too far back if you do burn up your tires.
Well, we're about to find that out entirely here. Right now, we are on the onboard camera here with the fastest driver out of the bunch already, Craig Janzik. No surprise here as he... The only thing I'm really surprised by is he switched his number around. I don't remember him going into the 02s. Did somebody give him a new team and scheme out there or something?
Yeah, I noticed that too. Yeah, that seems kind of odd, doesn't it?
Maybe a little bit, but nevertheless here, he'll have to falter down one spot here as Boyd Hagen once again showing the power of the Champion Power Equipment 96 has taken the advantage. Robert Lawrence actually moving ahead of Janzik by about 200ths of a second. We'll see if Janzik can get something a little bit faster as he brings it right around his final lap, and does not appear he's not going to get any faster lap in here. This 02 will have to wheel with what he's got, so he'll be in top 3 to start off. Hagen laying down 1200ths of a second faster than Robert Lawrence. My word, getting a really good time in. Kyle Holden, you just talked to them a minute ago, Dustin. He gets a top 4 out of that one.
Yeah, actually, he actually tied Craig Janzik on time. They both ran the same exact lap time on that, so both of them pretty quick.
Both of them quick, very speedy. And Tyler Meeks at number 35, a little bit loose off of turn number 4 there. That will DNF his time, unfortunately. He's not going to get any speed off that. They will not let him continue on, apparently. So they'll have to just kind of work with what they got and call it DNF until they can get another car out there. The 91 of Kevin Kershaw now laying down his time here in his factory canopies machine.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Boyd Hagen there, who got that right now on the pole, he got that second lap a lot quicker than his first lap. Everybody else kind of seems to be running about the same lap on their second lap. So it doesn't seem like the second lap really makes too much of a difference.
Oh, I'd like to say the first lap definitely makes a bit of a difference there. The 91 of Kevin Kershaw, loose off of corner 4, slamming the wall protection, and unfortunately now has to try to revert back to pit road and try to get a brand new car to maybe make a time, and that is not going to do him any good, unfortunately, on the track.
Yeah, that's the thing. They do. You get 2 laps and you get a little bit of time here in qualifying. So if you have enough time, you can get back down. Oh, there goes Tyler Meeks again going down in the grass.
Well, that would be a DNF completely outright. He only had 1 chance. He only had 2 chances to get a lap in. That unfortunately will cost him. Kyle Myers actually laying down a top 5 lap here, so moves Alonso down into the 6th slot. 29.95 for Myers. Good time there as we watch Zach Henson laying his time down. Surprisingly, is only in the 30s here. Zach not getting as much speed as I thought he would out of the gate.
Yeah, it looked like a little struggle there for him trying to get up to speed there. That's almost a full second off the pace, so definitely going to have to try to find some speed in that car.
Kyle Myers really laying down the second fast now, bumps down Lorenzo by about a 10th of a second. That's got some speed underneath, and the BSM Racing Team once again looking to outplay the boys and outmaneuver them once more. Henson still in the 30s though, only gets a 30.23, so if you're getting into that 29s here, you know you got some speed under the hood.
Definitely. It looks like that's the benchmark. If you can get under 30 seconds here, you got a fast hot rod.
That is certainly the case. Brian Bassett saying go William Mann Jr. as he's rooting on his boy here. We'll see if he can perform at the level we know he can. His qualifying has now completed, race fans. And with that said, the time has come. Dustin, we know how to do it. We know how to play it, but let's bring it down. Presented by Champion Power Equipment, here is your grading order for tonight's action here at Nashville Superspeedway. On the pole, we will start it up. Boyd Hagen, the 96. Your number 1 seed is outside Kyle Myers, teammate of Team BSM Racing.
In row number 2, we got Robert Lawrence in his machine here tonight, and Craig Janzik will start right beside of him.
Row number 3, we see Kyle Holden pilots the Big 5 that is outside. It's the 77, Brian Lorenzo.
In row number 4, it's Jason Taylor in number 15 and Caleb Forsyth in car number 76.
Row 5 sees Eli. You know him as a wild child in that 9, and is outside. It's number 2, Zach Henson.
In row number 6, we have James Harrison, that patriotic number 55 car, and Georgie Young in car number 48.
In row 7, you piloted it down. Brad Thacker, the 56. The 81 is Harley Barletta.
In row number 8, there's William Mann Jr. in car number 29, and Stephen Clegg in car number 22.
In row 9, it is going to be Tyler Meeks, the 35. This outside. The 8 is Sheldon Pearson.
In row number 10, we have Kevin Kashar in car number 91. TJ Majors, that's not a mistake there. That is TJ Majors there in car number 3.
And last on the rows, the 69 is piloted by Stephen Pless. So, field set to go for racing action here as we await the command. I don't know if TJ will make the call. I think he may be a little bit busy with some other things. Stephen Pless will be kind of watching on over the track, though, I guarantee you that. For now, anyway, at least we'll see. As your field of drivers is set to go for the grid and set to go for the action at hand. Dustin, I'm excited for this one. Should be an interesting little race here.
Definitely should be, especially if this thing goes green. I think, you know, the last time me and you were with these guys a couple weeks ago, we had a race that went pretty much green flag pretty much most of the race, and it ended up being a, you know, a tire strategy race. I'm kind of wondering and hoping if this will be the same.
With that mindset, too, I mean, tire strategy going to be extremely crucial here as much as it'll be for a fuel run. We kind of keep forgetting about that, too, in Nashville Super Speedway, which, you know, again, tires are one thing. You know, like, we can make our things, our bets about Fontana, California, and Michigan with the tires, but really, we've also kind of seemed to forget one other element that really can set the field in and set the drive in, which is that fuel run. We've seen it before where really past seasons, a fuel run was what either made or break some drivers, and it cost them dearly at times. This one, I think, honestly, is going to go down to the limit with tires, but the fuel to me is going to be what really is going to separate the men from the boys. We'll see if that long run does it in Queeps here.
That's a good valid point about that, about the fuel, because we've seen a few of these races before where we think somebody has got it in the bag and then they come off turn 4 and they're puttering and running out of gas and somebody else wins it as the pace car ducks off here.
The time has come here, race fans. We have set the field. We have set the tone. The drivers now have it all on their end here. The green flag flies. We're underway here at Nashville Super Speedway.
100 laps here tonight these drivers are going to have to deal with as they go down into turn 1, and already 3 wide salute there as they come off of turn 2.
3 wide and off on a turn number 1 and 2 out of the gate. Brian LaRon's on the 77 trying to get an early advantage over Caleb Forsythe in the 76. Putting him back into the MAC here. Eli Childs in the 9 trying to get away from being in the 9th slot. Move up 1 as he goes straight to the bottom.
Yeah, we'll have to see if these folks can pace themselves here. It doesn't look like it so far, but they'll eventually get strung out here, and hopefully they'll get themselves paced out here.
Once they start getting into that single file run like they're doing right about now here, I think that's where it's going to start to kind of dip and dive a little more. Greg Jantic moving into the 2nd spot ahead of Kyle Myers in the 18 GMG machine. Myers taking some time out from his usual pro invitational racing background and his usual cup racing there. It's good to see him kind of firing back at some of these boys. Kind of taking it easy out of the gate as Jantic tries to keep him behind and try to use Hagen as a bit of a working tool for him.
Yeah, Kyle was definitely quick in practice, so he definitely has a fast car. He's definitely showing it off here as he's going to just sit right here in 3rd spot, kind of going to ride around, I think, for a while now that this thing is starting to get strung out a little bit.
A side-by-side battle still entering into turn number 2, down off the back straightaway. Brian Lorenzo and Caleb Forsythe going at it, and we talked about it earlier with Jantic, Lawrence, and even Mr. Forsythe. They were the top 3 in practice on hot laps when it came to sheer speeds. Obviously, though, you heard Forsythe say earlier, I'm using my race setup, and that was what I was going with. I mean, if that is the case, then to me, other than that little wall protection hit he just took out turn 1, I think honestly he's got a pretty decent ride today.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely keep yourself at a good pace. And like most of the drivers have said, within that, we'll see here in about 10 to 15 laps, whether some of them guys at the front are able to stay up there. Some of these other guys are able to, the ones that save their tires a little bit more and save that rubber, be able to get up through there and make some passes and get up through the field.
And something we're kind of noticing too, Forsythe, he's digging that wall a little bit, and more often than I'm seeing kind of when he was running earlier. I don't know, maybe he's just having some troubles trying to keep it off the wall protection entering off turn 4 or what's going on, but it is certainly slowing him down a little bit as Lorenzo makes the jump to the bottom, taking over position here as he's going to have to try to stay off it again.
Yeah, he is kind of climbing up there a little more than I think he wanted to be up near that wall. I mean, it's nice to be up near that wall, but you can't be too far up there. The good thing about these next-gen cars, though, is if you do kind of slap the wall a little bit, it's more like a Darlington stripe. You don't really bend the fenders in like you did on the old Gen 6 car. With these cars, you can hit that wall, and they kind of just have a little flex to them, so you don't really get too much of the damage as you would on the Gen 6 car.
Kind of a bit of more of that boxy style. The 87 Cup cars we've always talked about and kind of praised as like cars that can take the punishment as much as they can give it. You know, barely back for even those 87s in the Aero Wars that was of the 80s. They had really those big, elongated, big cars that they ran for the longest time in the National Series. And now it wasn't back known as the Cup Series. Back then in NASCAR, they called it the National Series. And really, since then, we've seen the cars, wheelbases and everything kind of shortened down back into that 87 style of racing. And I think it really kind of shows you just how good the 87 Cup cars and them were. Now they're kind of trying to get a little bit of back next gens, and the safety improvements certainly have done a work with it too.
Absolutely, yeah, and it's definitely, I mean, and as everybody has seen this year, even on the NASCAR Cup side this year, how diverse the racing has been this year. We've had multiple winners, you know, so this car is a new animal to deal with. The drivers have really adapted to it already, and it seems like that, you know, the racing product, at least so far, with all the different winners and stuff, it's really made an exciting Cup season so far.
Well, the biggest thing that they told us here, and they really were trying to work with the most of on anything, was they wanted to get a car that was designed to truly even the playing field out, put it in the driver's hands. And, you know, other than the COT era, I really do feel like they have put it in the driver's hands, because back when those COT cars were running around, they actually just kind of took about a year or so before they finally figured out how to manipulate and change them. These next gens, I mean, to me, if I'm any of those NASCAR guys out there, and even NASCAR is being very strict on how they change things or even try to mess with any of the official stuff, like you saw with Brad Keselowski's penalty points, to me it seems like these cars are going to stay a little bit of an enigma for a couple years. And if you're a rookie or really getting into that Cup Series division, I think it's probably about the best time to get in with them and try to work them out before people start to get better about trying to change them and doing their style of racing.
Absolutely, I definitely agree with you about the younger generation coming up. They're going to have, you know, first crack at these cars, and they're going to really get into these cars and have a lot more longer time with these cars than, say, you know, guys like Kevin Harvick and some of the other fellas that are kind of up in age and won't be around too much longer before they go into retirement. You know, to getting them young guys in here, it'd be a good time to get into these cars, really learn about them really quick, so that way you have an advantage later down the road.
But that does kind of bring me into a good point too here, there's Dustin. You kind of hit it on the head. Guys like Kevin Harvick, you know, again, we've even heard Martin Truex Jr., they talked about possibly getting into retirement. John, about all that talk and everything, trying to change it up as we see a little change up here in positions as number 35. Tyler Meeks switches to 15th slot out with a 48 of George Young, and Clay kind of squeaking right by him. But that kind of brings into a better point here, is that with that car and this design, the veteran drivers, to me, and I think Richmond's a good example of this, they've shown that the veterans on a really long run have outclassed and outsmarted the younger generation when it comes to trying to get past just that short run. They've actually shown that when you need a long run, they can prove that the car is very well diverse and can really power handle anything they can throw at it like that.
Yep. Absolutely. Experience still is king, no matter how it goes. And it doesn't matter if you've been in the series just a little bit or a long time. If you're a veteran and you know how these things work, I mean, experience is just a gold mine.
Well, speaking of a gold mine, we have got a battle up ahead. The gold mine of the Oval Sim Performance crew of Robert Lawrence and Craig Janzik have challenged Team BSM. The 18 of Myers behind the number 34 of Lawrence. Meanwhile, Janzik has taken on Hagen.
Yeah, it's quite a little bit of a battle going on back here between the, we got the 18 there of Myers, Jason Taylor there, and the 15 also in that mix. Kyle Holden's also in that mix. So they're all kind of just jumbled there together. They're just all there in a big quad.
In a bit of a quad, Janzik really using a lot of that veteran instincts and that strategy that really takes to try to take some of these guys down. Boyd Hagen well aware that he is very much in the presence of having to take on some tough rides here. And Kyle Myers, you know, a Pro Series Cup driver right now, trying to also presume and make a point to these guys that he can show that he can hang on to the best of them and he'll take anyone on that dares cross his path. But Myers, to me, hasn't been able to escape the really big issue. And I think the well, kind of the elephant in the room, I guess you could say, is he hasn't been able to escape the wrecks. He hasn't been able to escape bad luck. I think today, really, this is more of his style of racing, what he wants.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, more of this kind of style where, you know, it's just not where everybody's not so aggressive per se. More or less, everybody's kind of just more relaxed with each other a little bit as far as this series goes. And I think it kind of suits him a little bit here. And, you know, he's nice to have drivers like that come in here and kind of set the bar for these guys a little bit. Have somebody else to run against once in a while and say, hey, let's see how we stack up against these boys.
Speaking of raising the bar out here, let's talk about some of the guys in the back right now. George Young and Willie Mann Jr. You know, I've constantly brought it up, and I keep mentioning it every now and then, but really the only driver out of that bunch that we see that has yet to win, in my opinion, a deserving win, is George Young. He has never won here on PCMX TV in a main feature or any of the big races. And right now, him and Yan Jr. going at it pretty quickly. I really feel like those two in particular are watching the lap counter, they're watching the race. They're thinking probably the same thing you and I have been talking about, which is that fuel strategy and the tire strategy. Could they possibly just be taking it easy to try and save a couple more laps and outsmart the boys up front?
That could be what they're thinking of. They might have been thinking about that race we had a couple weeks ago where it ran so long, and maybe that's their strategy. Maybe they're going to stay back there, and right now they're not losing too much time to the leaders, so that's a good thing. They're kind of within about 7 or 8 seconds off the lead, so this strategy may come out and work in their favor if they get willing to stick to it.
Well, speaking of putting a stick to it there, you could probably fit less than a ruler inch of half there from Steve Clegg and Mann Jr.'s a minute ago. Clegg is literally riding that back bumper like I'd be trying to ride somebody in a Superlate model at Lanier, man. My word, he was putting that thing right up to him.
Yeah, and it amazes me how these guys, you know, are just clumped together like this. They're not like really far. I mean, most of them is like single file, but you got little groups here of guys racing each other around here. The racing's just been so good so far.
Speaking of the good racing here, how about this old rivalry renewed? James Harris and Eli Childs back at it once again, and these two had a rivalry that stretched upon literally into a championship series twice in the same year, in 2 seasons, if you will. James Harris would falter to Eli at Kansas, giving Childs his first championship season, and then it was the next season, James Harris finally broke the monkey and broke the curse off his back and got the win that he so wanted to do at Auto Club Speedway. You know, and some drivers even that day said that it was really all that Janzik needed to do was just stay controlled and stay clean, but, you know, we talked about it again. You cannot trust anything on the track because of motorsports. Anything can change, and sometimes just a slight little error from somebody else costs you everything on the track.
It's absolutely true. Yeah, you can control your car, you can control mostly what you can do on the racetrack, but then there's always, you know, expect the unexpected. You got to keep that in the back of your mind out here, and a lot of these drivers kind of got to keep that in focus here because you never know when, you know, there might be a wreck, there might be blowing engine, you know, there might be something you get traffic lapped down under a caution. So many different variables, and the race can change on a dime, so you just got to be prepared and be ready for that.
That kind of brings me to another point too. You've been behind Robert Kahn when he blew the motor back at Talladega here on the Gen 6s. How high do you think these RPMs, when they get in that draft, like they have to kind of shoot for before you really start to push too much of that engine around with these next gens, you think?
Well, unlike Talladega, here these guys are I think are kind of split apart, and you got a little bit more of the handling to deal with these cars, so I don't think they'll be right up each other's tailpipes as much with the draft here as you would say at Talladega, where you mentioned Robert Kahn blowing the engine because he stuck the glue right on the back end of a Chantal Pottle there, and that caused the engine, you know, to get hot because he was stuck behind her for so long. Here, I don't think it's that big of an issue with these cars here, unless somebody tries to tandem draft. But here, because there's so many variables, a concrete track, you got to save your tires, you know, there's so many different variables here. I think with this car here, I don't think we're going to see too much of that overheating problem here.
I can definitely concur there, my friend. And right now, Tyler Meeks, so he said he hated this track earlier, but the dude's literally gotten 6 spots up from where he started at in position. Eli Childs, James Harrison, then faltering way back. Meeks really playing a bit of that possum that we honestly thought Robert Lawrence would try to do out of the gate. Same with James Harris, but Harris, though, he's not getting much speed back, and nor is he getting much run. I mean, I know he could just be trying play a little bit of possum like Lawrence is seemingly right now, because Jason Taylor is literally in the top 5 and he's ahead of him by about a second and 8th. But I am starting to see a little bit in the turns where Taylor's starting to lose a little bit. Lawrence is gaining, but it's not as much as maybe you might think. As right now, even Craig Janzik, of all things, is faltering way back into the pack here. This is not looking good for Oval Sim Performance right now.
Yeah, it looks like now we've settled in. We're on lap 27 right now of 100 laps, and it looks like now that tire wear is starting to show its face. These guys now are pretty much a second off what they ran off of their pole speed earlier, and they're starting to see some comers and goers. As you mentioned, Meeks back here, he's actually challenging Brad Thacker here for 11th for the top 10 right now. So you're starting to see some guys that got up front early. Now they're starting to fade back a little bit because they burned the tires off a little too much. And the guys that kind of conserved a little bit are starting to move toward the front a little bit.
Speaking of moving up towards the front, we just literally saw the pass there with the 18 Kyle Myers, the GMG Green Mountain Grills Toyota Camry, actually making a move off on the 96 here of Mr. Boyd Hagen. And, you know, Myers, we talked about it earlier, he's been trying to get that monkey off his back. He's been trying to start to figure things out a little bit, but here's something I'm noticing too. And, you know, people can say what they want about simulations and stuff, but guys, look at the manufacturers on your screen. Guess who's in the top 3 right now?
Yeah, I believe it is an all Toyota show, it looks like to me.
It is, and honestly, Kyle Holden, he's putting up a fight here. He's got about 2 seconds ahead of Jason Taylor, who was driving the Ford, same with Janzik. So the Chevys, I'm surprised. They are way back in this field here. This is not looking good for the Chevrolets, because usually when we talk about NASCAR, when we talk about that kind of series, the Chevys have always been dominant at the 1.5 mile and the mile long tracks. This is certainly showcasing a little bit something different here.
You're definitely right on that. Interesting enough, this is kind of looking how the Cup race went this weekend. So far, the Joe Gibbs Toyotas ran so well, and now we're kind of seeing that same thing happen over here, where so far the Toyotas are up front, but can't count the Chevys out. I look for at least a couple of them to be there toward the end of this race. They're not out of it by no means.
Certainly not indeed right now. Currently, though, I mean, we're literally 30 laps into this race. And so far, race fans, here on Pete's Race TV, it's a wild showcase out of the gate. Top 5 on your screen: Myers, Hagen, Holden, and Taylor, with Janzik in the mix of it. Can any of these drivers find a way to knock down Team BSM? Kyle Holden, the only one not of the Team BSM crew to try to get it done. Ladies and gentlemen, today's race here in Nashville Superspeedway in Lebanon, Tennessee, brought to you in part by our friends at Champion Power Equipment. When you guys need the best power generators on the market, there's only one branded name that you can rely and trust in, and that is with Champion Power Equipment. Be sure to visit them up at their website at www.championpowerequipment.com to find yourself the latest power generator for your needs today. And Dustin, right now, currently, as we are approaching the later half of this race here and the later runs, still it is Tyler Meeks, really the hard charger of the day by a mile here, going 8 spots up, and he is laying this one in quick as they come.
Yeah, he is. Despite his troubles in qualifying that he had, it looks like he's got a pretty decent race setup here. He's been able to pass a lot of folks, get himself up in the top 10, looking real sharp right now in car number 35. As we continue to keep driving going on here right now, Kyle Myers still your leader. He's pulled out almost about a second lead on Boy Hagen at this point. Run 34 laps, getting toward the time. Eventually, we're going to get a green flag pit stop at this point. Again, we'll have to see what the strategy comes along with the tires in the fuel of when those guys are going to do. It looks like we've got a couple takers already. Looks like we have Craig Janzik and Robert Lawrence both on pit road early here. So I'm wondering if this tire strategy is coming to part again. We saw this a couple weeks ago where some guys would short pit, get them fresh tires so they could run quicker laps early on and try to get ahead of the field. And that looks like that's what's the case here. right, so I'm going to continue here for just a moment here. Looks like we're having some little bit of technical difficulty here, but we'll be all right. We'll go ahead and keep going here at the moment. And right now, we still got Mr. Myers in the lead at the moment. He's still got a, well, actually, it looks like Hagen's trying to catch back up to him here in the second spot.
Yeah, thanks for holding me on there.
Ah, there he is. He's come back now, folks.
Yeah, sorry, folks. Minor technical difficulties here. We had to drain out the plugs in the audio end, unfortunately. So thankfully we got it all fixed out here as we are currently back out on the track. Stoneacre, I didn't even see what was going on here for a minute. I was trying to get the speakers cleared out on our headset. What was going on down here? What did you see?
Well, what we've seen so far, as I've mentioned so far already, that Craig Janzik and Robert Lawrence have both hit the pit lane, and Stephen Flagg has actually now just hit pit road now. So those two guys already came in and got their 4 tires and getting an early stop to get fresh tires to maybe try to gain some time on those leaders up front. Everybody else so far has stayed out.
Now, lap 33 is going to be, and 35 are going to be our benchmarks here. Remember, this is a 100-lap race. So I'm going to tell you right now what the strategy is and what it's already kind of boiling down in my opinion. I think what's going on is what we saw at WGC Raceway. Myers, Hagen, and them are going to go the full distance, go halfway, and then head into pit road. They've had this strategy before, and it almost worked perfectly back at WGC Raceway. The only downside for Hagen, he ran into a buzzsaw of Jantic in his unalterated speed out there.
Yeah, absolutely. We remember that race very much, where Janzik was able to track him down and basically on the last lap actually catch Hagen, and it was able to pass him on the final lap. So yeah, it's almost setting up like it's looking like that's the same strategy again here.
Now, that said, though, I mean, that kind of also mitigates what the strategy was prior for Willie Mann Jr. and George Young, which is now they realize they can't do that strategy as well. Now they got to start finding some extra speed to trying to get into that top 10. If we talk about how difficult it is just to even try to get in top 10s with this kind of a level of playing field, this kind of level of traction, it's so difficult to even get around anymore with that way.
Yeah, now with the very slick racetrack now, and with these guys putting a lot of rubber down, and now with the tires basically really getting worn down at this point, guys like George Young and those fellows, they're going to have to make a decision here really soon. Do we come in early and go ahead and get those tires and get back out there and try to make up time, or do we try to stretch this thing out?
While we were talking right there, Robert Lawrence and Brad Thacker getting a little bit into it. Robert saying to Thacker, get out of my way, or I'll make sure you get out of my way. Gave him a bumper into turn 1 and 2. And Jantic trying to get him right ahead as well, maneuvering through lap traffic. They're going to try the same strategy they had at WGC Raceway. Whether or not that will work out perfectly for them, I do not know for sure, as Young and Pearson have both entered into pit road here, Dustin.
Yep, absolutely. Yep, here comes George Young and Pearson both heading into pit road. They're coming in at lap number 41, so not quite to halfway, but they're going to go ahead and get those fresh tires and see if they can make up time at this point. And yeah, both Lawrence and Janzik now have to maneuver through that lap traffic. Got to be careful because they're on fresher tires. These other guys on older tires, they really don't want to try to run everybody over and get a caution, and then that'll go even further behind.
You know, we talk about here in NASCAR, Cup Series racing, or Xfinity or trucks, and how difficult it is just to kind of maneuver around on long runs when it comes to these pit stops and these runs here. And especially for the guys and gals that literally play a different strategy, a different playing field here. I mean, that is one of the unique things about this type of race and this type of momentum is the ideals of having to work around lap traffic, having to maneuver around traffic, and in turn, you know, constantly causing more trouble and more issues for some than maybe they realize. And even some guys like Zach Henson are starting to kind of use that to their advantage. Brian Laurent's way off pace, and Henson, I'm kind of surprised here. I said earlier he was off pace in qualifying. I think he made a monkey out of me because now he's pulling a Tyler Meeks on all of us.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I was wondering about that. I wonder if some guys had, you know, a better qualifying setup than they did a racing setup, and then other guys had a better race setup. It looks like some of those guys qualified. Whoa, that was a close moment there for Forsyth in the 76. But that's the thing is, you know, those guys may have had a better race setup, and it might show up here later on in the run, even though they started a little further back.
Well, Forsyth-wise, we cannot say anything too much there because here's the thing. Him and Brad Thacker, you know, Brad can say all he wants about this, but he's actually in top 10 now, about to take the nice spot away from his teammate Forsyth. they literally said earlier that they were struggling to figure this place out, get it dialed in. But Forsythe had a pretty good run there, and he's only down 2 spots. Same for Eli Childs. The thing is, Forsythe hasn't really faltered too much, hasn't really lost much speed. It's just the downside is he's running up against guys that are literally like 3 or 4 times faster out of the gate, and those that are literally just saved their tires up for a really, really long run are now coming through.
Yeah, I'm pretty impressed with his run that he's been able to stay right there. Even smacking on the wall a few times, he's still able to keep that car going as he has. And nice run by Thacker too in the 56. He said he was slow early on, but right now it looks like he's figured something out in that 56 machine.
I think you literally said it best when you were literally in the when you were in the truck earlier on in Nashville Super Speedway. You said, once I hit that truck into the wall, I'm literally driving a dump truck from here.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. It's pretty much when you hit the wall hard enough on that right side, and yeah, it's pretty much like driving a dump truck at that point, because then you have no air, no downforce, no nothing on the outside, and it just feels like you're gonna just plow into the wall again.
And I think you got some love as well from our comments booth here. From somebody, I want to check the comments down here on our Facebook end. You got a friend down there that wants to say hello there, Dustin.
Oh, we got a fan. Okay, well, I'm a friend of mine down there. Well, hello. Welcome to the broadcast.
Thanks for coming on board here, Cameron Wesenberg. Right now, watching Janzik and Lawrence here, they're still trying to get up to Myers, Hagen, and Holden. And by the way, they are pretty much about 37 seconds ahead of them. But again, that's because of a lap traffic ordeal. So, with that said, though, Myers and Hagen and Holden, they are the only ones really that have not gone into pit road when really we thought they should have, because how much they're tearing the tires up. They are saving fuel up. There is no doubt about that. But I'm still questioning if they can get halfway before literally Janzik and Lawrence can catch them again. Because if that's the thing here, if they catch them, and I mean if they catch them, how long before this strategy gets thrown out the window again and Lawrence and Janzik may be able to outsmart them, because they are getting up to them. Because Holden's literally in turn 3 right now, and you saw Janzik, he was really about entering into turn 3 just a minute ago. He's in 3 now. He's gaining ground on all of them here.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm wondering that as well. It's almost like we've seen this picture before, as we mentioned before back at WWT. Of course, I'm amazed that the same strategy would work twice on 2 different tracks. I mean, we have WWT, which is a totally different racetrack than what this place is. This is concrete, that was asphalt, 2 different shapes of track. So I'm interested to see if the same strategy would work on a different racetrack such as this.
Jason Taylor and James Harris have both entered into pit road. Taylor's coming out of pits now. James still stuck in there. Kyle Myers has now admitted defeat. We loses his race lead. Zach Henson and Brian Lorenzo have entered in as well. Hagen and Holden staying out, as Kershaw as well in the 91. He's actually making a little bit of a resurgence here, moving the chains up as he's now dealing lap traffic with Steve Clegg in the 22.
Yeah, absolutely. These guys. So that looks like that was the strategy for those couple of drivers there, was to make it to halfway and then come down and just kind of say, okay, I'm going to get my 4 tires, maybe make an adjustment, get some fuel in there, and then just ride to the finish.
Kyle Holden has entered in a pit road as Hagen stays on out. Yeah, we're going to question again. I know we keep bringing this up here, Dustin, but we literally saw Worldwide Technology Raceway, or Gateway, whatever you want to call it. Hagen and Janzik went at it in the last laps. Is Hagen realizing his mistakes last time? Is he trying to stay out longer so he can use more of his overall speed ahead of Janzik?
That may be the case, depending on how long he's willing to stay out here and run this thing. Of course, he's losing probably about 2 seconds left at this point to the guys on fresh tires that's already pitted. But maybe he times it just right, where he's been out there long enough. When he comes to get fresh tires, he'll make that time back up and time it just right, where he will be at the front right at the end.
Well, he's going to have to go in now. He just saw Robert Lawrence and Greg Janzik get ahead of him. And wait a minute, Hagen off of turn 4. He slowed down tremendously here. I think he was trying to get to pit road. He overshot it, though.
Oh, no, that's definitely going to be a big problem there. Big problems for him. That's going to really put him back. If he's overshooting that, it's going to cost him valuable seconds.
if he does not get a caution or any kind of help here from the boys, there's no way he's going to be able to make that ground up with the way this race has been playing out. Janzik and Lawrence are taking full control of this one now. Myers and Holden are the only two that fair a chance to take him down. Meeks also hanging in there, going an extremely long run as Hagen finally heads to pit road. He was trying to get it in there on lap 53 there, Dustin.
Yeah, and that's gonna. Oh, Thacker, hold on to it. Oh, Thacker slid it into the pit road. Wow, that was cool to watch.
Nope,
But
no
yeah,
caution.
no caution though. But for Hagen though, yeah, that little mistake. I think now that really hurts his strategy because now he's got to really push and make up the time now that he lost trying to get down into pit road.
Well, we watched what happened to Thacker here, and yeah, I'm not sure if he was trying to play a little drift competition, but I think he may have lost ad and ended up swinging it way too wide. He was trying to back the car up so he can get it to where it would not accelerate fast pit road and end up getting him a speeding penalty. That was his major scare. Thankfully, he was able to avoid it, but unfortunately, he lost a lot of ground because of it.
He had that car more sideways than we did those trucks on dirt the other night.
Yeah, that was your guys, and I told you how to drive it straight. You all just ignored me and try to go swinging it straight right and left.
I think I did more of the Caleb Forsyth method. I more or less tried to knock the wall down than anything.
Fair enough there. Speaking of Forsyth, by the way, he is in the top 3 actually. The 76 has been pretty much kind of laying it down. He is one of the other drivers that have not gone to pit road. You know who's not gone to pit road yet? William Mann Jr., Caleb Forsyth, Kevin Kersher, and Tyler Meeks.
Yeah, how about that? Tyler Meeks is now out in front. The guy that qualified way back at about 17th, and he has made his way 1 point. Of course, he still hasn't yet made a pit stop and all that, but nice TV time for the gentleman there.
Now, that said, I am starting to notice something too here, Dustin. Remember what lap that you saw Jantic and Lawrence go into, and look at how far Meeks, Kersher, Forsyth, and Mann Jr. are going. Are you starting to pick up on this little pattern they're doing?
Yeah, I'm starting to catch something there because it looks like based on what I'm seeing here lap-wise, Janzik and Lawrence both pitted on lap 25.
Lap 33.
These guys are... Oh, lap 33, my mistake there. Yeah, there is something kind of... I just noticed that too. Yeah, quite an interesting note that you looked in there.
Well, they're going in lap 33. That would mean, in theory, and again, guys, it's just theory. We don't know what the drivers are thinking are going to do, but lap theory, they only got to go about 7 more laps. If Meeks, Kersher, Forsyth, and even Mann Jr. can outsmart that, Jantic and Lawrence have to go into pit road. They wouldn't have had time to catch them, which means they can actually use that speed and power on the fresh set of tires and just kind of lay the race out from there and just go fuel run.
That would be an interesting strategy. We'll have to see if that does pan out.
It's an interesting strategy, but then that brings me to my biggest issue, which is, well, the obvious, Oval Sim Performance is speed. We saw what Lawrence was telling us earlier. He was, exactly as he said, playing possum. He did not want these guys to know what him and Janzik were going to be up to or what they're going to bring in, as Forsyth has to go into pit road now, so that will slow his pace down, but they really were telling the truth. They did not want these guys to know what they were going to do or how they're going to play it out there.
Right, exactly. I think that's why they kind of did what everybody else wasn't going to do. They were going to do their own strategy, and we'll have to see how it pans out. I mean, Craig Janzik did it before at WWT, as we mentioned before, with, using a unique strategy there. So maybe them two got together, kind of made a battle plan of what to do tonight, and they're putting that plan into fruition here.
It's kind of crazy to me too, just how long and how much of a workaround these drivers are playing out, and they're really bringing to the table. I would not have expected, honestly, these last 2 races to be as long green flag runs as they were, because we saw what was going on early into the season. There was a lot of headaches that these guys were dealing with in these next-gen Cup cars, as well as some from the drivers' point of views. But now it's almost as if I hate using this word, but the flip of the coin was used and the coin has now landed on the tail side, which was giving them the worst end. Now it's giving them the good side, which is the head's end.
Good point that you bring up about that too. Yeah, it looks like these guys have now adapted to these cars very well. And of all things, I mean, we are here at Nashville Super Speedway. This is a tough track on tires, it's a tough track to get a hold of. You know, and then you had WWT a couple weeks ago. That another one, a tough track where you have to more like a driver's track there. So you know, you've had two tough tracks here, and these guys are making it look like they're like professionals at this point.
Yeah, it really does too. I mean, we knew obviously going in what these guys were capable of. There's no doubt about that. But I mean, I think what really kind of separates these Fast and Fun Champ Power Equipment boys from really any other Cup Series races we see is just the fact that a lot of them know each other extremely well, and they're very diverse on kind of planning out their strategies and trying to find a way to take them down. But you know, at the same token, it's a dog-eat-dog world. They will not hesitate to, you know, take it to their limit and take it to them if they so desire. That's kind of one of the hallmarks of these Champion Power Equipment boys. They won't give in, but they won't give out.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these guys are really good racers with each other. A lot of respect between these guys. And when it comes down to if they have to use the bumper or whatnot, you know, they get upset. Yeah, absolutely. But you know, they get over it and they move on and they, you know, get back to racing the next race, and you know, everything's all nice and peachy at that point. So you know, these guys really have a lot of respect and professionalism with each other, and I think that's why the racing is so good with these guys, because there's so much respect between all the drivers out there.
Kevin Gersher has entered in pit road on lap 66. Meeks has finally entered in as well, and this is exactly what we were talking about earlier, Dustin. And Janzik and Lawrence, they're literally well aware what Meeks is up to. They have to enter into pit road at the same time. They knew what he was going to try to do, what they were going to try to play out. But Boyd Hagen in the 96 now regains the lead. He went in at pit road on lap 54. But my thing for him is, can he survive long enough with a set of guys that are going to literally have about 20 laps extra on the tires that they can use against him?
Yes, and there's that strategy thing. That was interesting. Danzig and Lawrence waited until Meeks got on pit road and they followed him in. Now they're going to be with him on his strategy now, and this is really going to pan out. I'm really waiting to see how this all works out here with these guys.
Tyler Meeks has now entered off into pit road. He's coming out of the track and to get right up ahead of Jason Taylor here, as he will only lose one lap down to Boyd Hagen. He'll have time to catch back up to him, but you know, Meeks said earlier he does not have speed, but I mean, at the same time, that's kind of be a bit of a worrisome for him, I would think, because I liked what he was trying to do, but now he's literally got to find a way to match some speed up, because Janzik and Lawrence, their speeds are phenomenal with that 30-lap deal, I feel.
I'm with you on that. However, I still like Tyler Meeks' strategy in that way that he went it out so far, because looks like Fording scoring no matter what. He's only one lap down, so if caution would have to come out, he would get the free pass. So that's good news there. But you know, he's shown that he's got good long run speed, and we got about 30 laps to go, so definitely still some time left on the table there. We'll have to see again how this all pans out, but hopefully Meeks can get himself in position here to hopefully get a podium finish, or at least try to get on the race.
And by the way, everyone in the top 10, minus our 9th and 10th drivers of Sheldon Pearson and George Young, they have all entered into pit road at least around the lap 49 or 48 marker to lap 54. And really, I say that because the thing is, you could save fuel for about 2 or 1 lap, but I guarantee you when it comes to literally like running it into a 10-lap ordeal, that could be a lot harder to keep speeds up with. And it just seems like more and more constantly we're looking at it. It is turned into a fuel mileage race, and to some fans, it may not be as exciting as, you know, say what you would do with a side-by-side race. But when you have the right coverage, you have the right people kind of explaining how much this is changing the game out, this makes things more and more interesting and diverse, in my opinion, by a long shot.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so many different diverse strategies, you know, with the tire strategies, when you hit, and what lap do you hit, how much time can you gain on everybody. Just so many different strategies you can try to come up with. And it depends on how the race goes, whether you're right on that strategy or whether you're out in left field on it.
Out of left field. By the way, Kyle Myers, I just saw him bobble there off of turn number 2. That 4, excuse me. That GMG 18 has made some good moves off turn 4, but it seems as though turn 4 is where everybody's having troubles with, except for turn 1 occasionally when you get bumped or drafted off of. I mean, Justin, I have not ran this track enough to tell you how difficult turn 4 is. I can only tell you just from experience that turn 4 gave me a lot of headaches when I was running other cars in our series here. But you've been driving the actual Cup Series to Xfinity to truck. What the heck is so difficult about turn 4 that these guys are dealing with?
It kind of snookers you in a little bit when you come off of turn 4 because you feel like when you get on the gas, you feel like that car's gonna, stick when it comes off the corner, and the concrete does have something to do with that. But depending on the car too, but in most cases, turn 4, it just seems like if you get too hard on that gas coming off, sometimes that rear end likes to step out a little bit. So you kind of play a little gingerly with the gas a little bit coming off. Sometimes you might even have to burp it a little bit just to settle the car down. But it is kind of tricky up there, and plus also, everybody kind of runs that middle to low groove up there. If you get too high, not a lot of people run the high line up here, so there might be some marbles up there that you get into too that might cause the vehicle to get a little squirrely off the corner, especially late in the run when you're on older tires and they don't stick as well.
And you just saw exactly what he was talking about there, race fans. George Young went up to that high side out of turn 4 to get Sheldon Pearson some room and lost a lot of speed off there. And those marbles definitely got to be playing into a bit of a factor down there. I mean, it's kind of hard to really tell from our camera angles, but generally when you see marbles on the track, you're seeing little black dots that are kind of poking out. Obviously, we're not seeing too much of it as obviously the asphalt, it does not translate the same as concrete. I mean, that side as well, can you see the marbles when you got a little bit into those up there on concrete compared to asphalt? Because asphalt, I can tell immediately where they're at, but concrete, I've had some troubles before.
Might not, that's the thing with that. With the marbles is they're there. They are hard to see on the concrete because it's not the asphalt's a lot darker, obviously, and the concrete is so white. Plus, you got the sun shining down on it, so it's really hard to tell and see those. But you can definitely feel them. And when you go over them things, it's not fun because you're basically on for the ride, and you're just gonna hope that you don't spin out or you don't hit the wall or you're able to drive through them.
Well, you can definitely see it right now. The race leader, the 96 Boyd Hagen, leading this pack out. When we come back after this commercial free from here, we will see if it all goes to a full 100 or if these drivers will put themselves into a bit of a ruckus here to the end. We're having fun here in Nashville. Come stay with us here on Pete Trains TV. Today's race here in Lebanon, Tennessee, presented in part by our friends at Champion Power Equipment. When you guys need the best power generators on the market, only one brand name stands above all else, and that is our friends with Champion Power Equipment. Be sure to visit them up at their website at championpowerequipment.com to get yourselves the best and the brightest of all the power generators on the market. Thank you again to your support for Champion Power Equipment, and thank you for supporting and showcase the show and for the Fast and Fun Cup Series. All right, Dustin, we've seen our strategies. We've seen everybody play this out. I think it's time we give them the broadcaster curse. Who do you got? Who you got?
I'm gonna go with the leader right now just because I think he's gonna be able to hold him off. I don't think he's gonna be coming back down to pit road at any time soon. I think he can make it on fuel. And he's running a pretty good pace. He's got about a 7-second lead. So I'm going to go with our leader here, Hagen, here at 96. I think he's going to be able to hold it off.
I'm honestly thinking it's something a little different. I'm kind of leaning more towards, at least in this case, I'm going to throw a really big wild card in here, and listen to me carefully here, guys. I'm going to go with Brian Lorenzo. Now, hear me out. Remember what he said earlier in his strategies in his playing field. He said, if this goes a long run in a tire strategy, I think this could be my time. Right now, yeah, he's about 10 seconds back of Hagen, but the thing is, Hagen still has traffic to deal with as much as Lorenzo does, and his gap is actually changing more as she goes. He's actually getting more speed and actually starting to diminish that gap that Hagen grew on him as well as other drivers. The only thing that I think derails him, that I think you're kind of also looking at, is he's 4 laps less, or he has 4 laps more on the tires compared to Hagen's 4 laps less.
Yeah, very good point about that. Yeah, definitely he's got a little bit longer run than what Hagen has. Hagen, hit a little bit later. Yeah, that does kind of factor in as well. Based on lap time, basically pretty much the top 2 guys are running about the same lap time, Myers and Hagen. And Taylor, Lorenzo, and Henson just a little bit off of what's running, almost about 3 to 4 tenths of a second off those front 2 guys. We'll have to wait and see.
And by the way, there, speaking of lap times, I forgot to mention earlier on, but about 20 laps ago, Caleb Forsythe actually hit the fastest time of the day. And if you can believe it, the fastest time was literally a 30.20. That was the fastest of the field. And he actually laid down something quicker. He laid down a 30.12 late into the run. That's the fastest of the bunch. That just tells you how much this race changed because of a short run to a long run.
Absolutely, especially running that fast of a lap this late in the race with all the tires and grit and oil and everything all over the racetrack, and still able to run that quick of a lap. That's very impressive for Caleb.
Certainly indeed. Right now, Forsythe the 76 in the Fire Department Coffee 76 machine dealing with Kevin Cursor in the 91, trying to hold down his line as currently our picks for either winning or being in the top 5 are still holding true and holding strong. And again, I chose Lorenzo again for the fact that it's not just to be a winner, it's also to get a top 5. So I'm gonna probably have to correct myself a little bit, but he has catched up now to Jason Taylor in 15 as Taylor has got a problem down here. He's already tightening up badly, and Henson's falling right behind. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa! That one got a little bit wild there, Justin.
Oh my goodness. We almost have it. We almost had problems over there, but everybody hung it on together. Wow, that was close.
Jason Taylor and Lorenzo literally putting the old fenders together, bumping and banging right to the line off of turn number 4. And Taylor was trying to stay out of Lorenzo's way, but Lorenzo nearly giving him the shaft and taking him straight past the rack. My goodness, that could have been disaster.
Yeah, definitely could have been disaster this late in the run to have something like that happen. Lorenzo will take the 3rd spot away, though, from Taylor, so put Lorenzo up to 3rd. He's going to gain another spot.
And there's another guy we forgot again, Zach Henson. He's in the top 5, and this cat, I don't know what it is with him, man. He just seems to be figuring something out we cannot on the show. I don't know where he's getting this kind of run from or where he's really finding it, but he is literally kind of creeping in and kind of creeping around constantly throughout these races.
Yeah, and he's not done yet either. He could definitely get up into the top 3. He's not too far behind Taylor and Lorenzo at this point, so he can definitely charge all the way up here, see if he can get himself up on the podium here tonight.
Still side by side now, Jason Taylor and Henson. They're going back out of here. Henson, he's having all sorts of runs, but again, he has not been able to get Taylor to kind of stretch up. This time he will, but remember what happened last time. Can Taylor hold it off? No, he won't. Henson, clean pass, entering 3 into 4, takes over, and Harley Barletta a lap down, trying to get his lap back and maybe try to scare something, but Taylor and Henson having a good little showcase here.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw there going into 3 and 4 how Henson kind of got right up on that back end of the 15 there and got him up the hill enough just so he would lose his momentum and was able to make a nice clean pass there. Good job by the 2.
And I just heard Lorenzo literally scrape that wall as well. It came out at turn number 3. They're entering in turn 3. Then to come off turn 4, you actually heard the little screech there. That was him and Nick on the wall a little bit, giving the old love tap as we like to refer to on Pete's Race TV. But nevertheless, here still hangs on as we are now approaching our final 10 laps here. And race fans, this has been pretty much the race that Boyd Hagen wanted. And in my opinion, this one is a little bit of sweet, sweet redemption for last time.
Yeah, absolutely. At WWP, remember, he was leading late in the race, came down to the end with Greg Danzig, and then he actually spun it off of turn 4, and that ended up costing him a win. He's hoping here tonight that hopefully that don't happen again to him here. Hopefully he can bring it on home.
Well, the thing for Hagen is, again, he had to deal with lap traffic. He had a guy in Jantic who was driving a whole different way and a whole different line and style, and made everybody literally question themselves, can they actually perform at that kind of level, kind of that peak? And that's exactly the way he wanted to bring it out and kind of come off of. This time, Hagen, we said it earlier, we'll say it again, he learned from his mistakes, and that is what a veteran driver does.
Absolutely, he definitely learned from the last time he was out here. So he's definitely putting that to good use here, and he's got about a 5-second, 5.5-second lead here, and the 18's really not gaining much on him. So he doesn't really have much pressure as he did before. So in this case, he can kind of dictate his own pace here.
You know, Kyle Myers too is a bit of a shocker to me because I thought, honestly, the way his strategy was playing out, I thought it was slightly better than Hagen because he was going the full halfway here, and you know, the 18, he actually had Hagen beat by a few laps there early on, but I guess really saving that 4 extra bit of laps really kind of made the difference. So Myers was really good on the half length, but Hagen was smart enough to know that Janzik and them were coming, so he actually decided to play a different strategy, and Myers, you know, full credit where credit's due, just kind of being a teammate, doesn't try to hurt him or hurt his run at the same time, which is pretty honorable if you ask me.
And it's still impressive that Hagen was still able to stay out in front after almost overshooting the pit, almost messing up the pit stop there. So he did a good job of not letting that affect him, still able to hold a decent lead.
But we literally watched though, as he came in turn 4, he was off the gas. He was slowed down so much that honestly, I thought that thing was done. I thought he was going to lose too much time. And because again, if I'm going off what happened last week again, he had so much speed, but when he lost time, and it just ended up costing him. This go around, I mean, I get Nashville and WWT Raceway are 2 different tracks. Let's not kid ourselves, but that to me was kind of, you know, kind of an overwhelming overarch and a foreshadowing, if you feel, to me, to what could happen later in this race.
Absolutely. And speaking of this race, we're almost running out of time here. We're down here to lap 96. We're going to get down to it here.
Final 5 laps left here. Top 5 on your screen now, race fans. And it's Boyd Hagen with the lead. Myers in second. Lorenzo in third, dealing with Henson and Taylor behind him. And by the way, Zach Henson, 6 spots up. Third hard charger of the day. Kevin Kershaw, your second hard charger with 9 spots up. And the man that I don't think anybody was really expecting, I think honestly he was the true possum around here. It's Tyler Meeks in the 35. And you might add one other extra thing. There's only one Chevy in this bunch.
Yeah, and that's the guy sitting in third who's getting pounded by the 2 car right now.
Yeah, Henson's not exactly letting Lorenzo breathe at all right now. That much is for certain.
Oh, whoa. Henson got real loose off of 2 there, and now Taylor's going to take advantage.
Here comes Jason Taylor, and again, Jason Taylor really putting on a performance constantly here on Pete's Race TV. He has literally found a resurgence, and if you ask me, he's turned into the Michael McDowell of our sport right now in the Champion Power Equipment Fast Fun Cup Series. When he's good, he's really good, and he's honestly finally starting to build a wave of momentum where everybody thought he would not. Impressive stuff by Taylor as he takes over in the top 5 once again on the show.
And the flagman has now put up 2 fingers, meaning we have 2 more laps to go. We're going to see if Hagen can hold on here.
Boyd Hagen is just a mere 2 corners away from seeing a white flag out on the track. Robert Lawrence just now catching him to get his lap back. And that's not to take the lead over, that's to get his lap back. Janzik's moved into the 7th spot. But as we bring him around off of turn number 4, the flagman holds the white flag high in the air. Boyd Hagen just needs to finish it out.
Here he comes down into turn 1. He's going to come off turn number 2 here in just a moment. Number 96 going to hold it down the back straightaway. He's only got 2 corners to go.
Last week it was treachery, unfortunately, in 3 and 4 for Hagen, costing him off with 2 to go. This time out of turn 3 and 4, left all alone, nowhere else to hide or run from the big black 96. Champion Power Equipment's Boyd Hagen brings it home at Nashville Superspeedway. And don't forget the battle here, top three. One last go here. You got Taylor driving it hard on the outside, but it's Lorenzo who outclasses Jason Taylor and Henson. Henson getting around Taylor as he goes into the wall. Top five. Figured this one out. What a race by all involved.
Yes, indeed. That was quite an exciting finish back there for third. Henson was able to nip him there right at the end.
Nip him at the end. Kyle Myers, once again, another performance making for his Team BSM crew, but another loss, unfortunately, as well, as he has to let the spotlight go back to that 96. Boyd Hagen, proving why he's a proven commodity and a NASCAR Esports Community Champion. He is looking to show the boys up and continue his dominance as he shows everyone how it's done with this race win in Nashville.
Absolutely. The strategy definitely worked out for him here tonight. Was able to make everything work out for him. Hardly any mistakes at all, and he brings it home with a decisive victory here today.
He certainly did indeed. And Dustin, we talked about it again. You know, the CBSM crew has always been tough to beat and tough to handle. Once again, Hagen and Myers proving that commodity. Once again, Kershaw even top 10 for him, actually. So you can't tell me for 1 second these guys did not have something figured out going into this race.
Yep, they definitely came prepared for this race here today. Good job by all of those guys.
And the results don't lie. Presented by Champion Fire Equipment, here is the final race results now officially in the books. Boyd Hagen once again wins this one out. The lone Canadian driver taking another one home. Kyle Myers will go second. Brian Lorenzo goes third. Fourth to Henson. Fifth to Jason Taylor in a tremendous final battle there for that top three. Tyler Meeks, I'm not sure if he is the worst liar of the bunch or he really did not know what was going to happen, but he comes away sixth. Craig Jansen goes seventh. James Harris and Eli Childs 8 and 9 respectfully. Definitely a little rivalry still brewing between those two. And Kevin Kershaw getting top 10 to round out his campaign today. Rest of the results now popping up on your screen as well from that end here. Of course, the only drivers that did not run, Stephen Pless and CJ Major. Sadly, they both could not make the call. Actually, Stephen Pless did run a little bit, so he did just kind of get some laps around, but didn't quite finish the race out. So, well, Dustin, there is one last piece of matter we need to do before we start ready to wrap this show up, my friend.
I believe so. I believe we have to get some drivers up here and interview them and ask them how they thought about today's race.
I think it's time indeed we did to it. Ladies and gentlemen, here your third place finisher today, and Brian Lorenzo in the 77. And Brian, yeah, you know, honestly, I kind of picked you to be my right hand man to get this one figured out in the top 5 or a win, and you did not disappoint, sir. You were right about the tires. If this one goes to length, this one was going to be in your hands.
Yeah, man. I definitely struggled at the beginning of the race. Fell back a couple positions, but as soon as the long run came, 20 laps came in, everybody started getting loose. But we just started moving forward and put this car in a great position at the end of the race.
Yeah, we definitely did indeed, and you had a lot going down on the playing field and on this battle zone here. I mean, really, it seemed like between you, Henson, and Taylor, we weren't really sure which one of you guys was going to get the better of the bunch. This one got pretty wild there, didn't it?
Yeah. I believe 15 pitted 2 laps earlier than when we did, when Zach and me pitted. So those tires were, even though they're only 2 laps old, they started falling off at the end of the race there. And I told Zach straight up, inner Ryan Newman was coming out, and this car's about to turn wide. And yeah, we were able to defend it here at the end for P3.
Defended at the end for P3, and at the same time also getting a little bit of a bump and tag there from Taylor as a great finish. There comes conclusion here in the last bit of the laps. Lorenzo, though, a third place finish, my friend. Who do you want to thank her for this?
I gotta thank my girlfriend, the family at home, Jennifer Taylor's readings, Crazy Dog T-shirts, Team C's, Team Trees, the whole Spinal group in Coast to Coast, and of course you guys, the broadcasters, for putting on a show every week.
Absolutely. All right. Well, nevertheless, Lorenzo, what a performance by you and the crew. Congratulations on a third place finish today, sir.
Thank you.
Brian Lorenzo, ladies and gentlemen, coming away third out of the bunch here in a great showcase of himself and his team. Now take it down, Team BSM, 1-2 today. In the number second spot, though, 18 is Kyle Myers here. And Kyle, congratulations on a second place finish once again. But that kind of does bring us to that point, too. Once again, another runner-up position. But, I mean, if you're going to falter anyone, it might as well be to the own teammate, correct?
Yeah, might as well be. Was doing pretty good the first run, only having about 20 laps total on the set, and went to get on pit road and we had some issues. So
You did have some issues, and actually, that's going to bring me to my next point, too. You were actually, if I had to be honest with you, I thought you were actually the faster of the two between Hagen and you. And I mean, where did the issue come from in pit road? What stopped you from really making the big moves here?
I think as soon as I got on the transition from the banking to the apron, I think the diffuser just hit and it kind of caught and hooked it immediately, like I had no control over it. So I think Boyd also had a little bit of troubles. I think he had to adjust his pit lap to the next one because I think he almost got hit.
Well, yeah, like I say, we'll talk to him about that too. But we can say he looked like he almost got hit, or that thing just came to a dead stop. But it managed to work out okay for him. So, and honestly, it did work out okay too for you, Myers. So coming away second out of the bunch, who do you want to thank here, sir?
Everybody at Blackstone Management, Green Mountain Grills, the Legacy guys for putting together that rocket ship that me and Boyd were on, in and out. That week in and week out, they're killing it. So all them guys over there and you guys for broadcasting.
Absolutely. All right, Myers, we appreciate you coming on board today, sir. Congratulations on that second place finish today.
Thanks. Have a good night.
You too. Ladies and gentlemen, Kyle Myers in the number 18 comes away here with the second place finish. And the guy, once again, that can't seem to be stopped, or we can't seem to figure out a way to stop him, but some sweet redemption here for the day. Boyd Hagen gets the race win here. And Boyd, man, I mean, this one went caution-free yet again. But this time, the shoe is on the other foot. You managed to knock down the entire field after a long stint, my friend.
Yeah, we had to recover after Gateway. I was beating myself up over that one for a while, so glad to come out and do it again.
You certainly did indeed, and you know, we talk about it again. You talk about the struggles and kind of literally what that could do to a driver's mentality. I think really we kind of bring it home more and more as we went around. This was a race that meant a lot as much as it did really kind of for you to get some payback at it, if you will. I mean, how much of last week did you use as motivation to make sure you did not mess this up today?
I mean, for the most part, it was really just, I mean, it was kind of an odd mistake on my part. Not something I would normally do. So it was more just trying not to make anything here, trying not to mess anything up and capitalize on the car we had, because I know we had something pretty good coming in here, and obviously, you know, Kyle and I were rolling pretty good there. Sucks whatever happened to Kyle Holden. He was rolling pretty good too. That was awesome to see him running good. But I mean, it was kind of just us three. Y'all checked out. I was having fun.
For sure there. Well, Hagen, as you check out today and get the win here yet again, my friend, who do you want to thank you for all this?
Yeah, I got to thank Kevin Kirchar, Blackstone Management, Champion Power Equipment, Green Mountain Grills, Curb Records, everybody who's a part of the deal with us. Reaper Speed Lab, and you guys for putting on the show, obviously.
All right.
Y'all are awesome, man. Thank you. Oh, and Cincinnati as well.
We really appreciate the support, Boyd. Congratulations. What a win yet again, sir.
Thanks, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, Boyd Hagen, the 96, pops away with another win and probably a tremendous performance end to this one to close out tonight's action. Dustin, Sparky, my friend, yet again, what a race. 100 laps to the end. We go Nashville Super Speedway, green flag all around, and there were some serious surprises. And honestly, I don't think we've really ever had a race that felt about as close as does to normal like NBC or like a Fox Sports coverage or even anything like that. But that's what it kind of felt like today. It felt like one of those races where the big dogs and the top dogs just proved themselves, and we were just kind of along for the ride.
Yeah, absolutely. Went whole 100 laps, green flag racing. Had, you know, comers and goers. We had different strategies again. if that were me at this point after 2 races where 2 strategies went completely different, I would just go back to I would actually just super kick the drawing board because I don't know what strategy works after all this. I mean, the last time it was get the fresher tires and beat the guy, and this time it was hitting it almost halfway and getting it all done and over with that won it. So that's hard to tell with these races, but what a clinic by all these drivers out here tonight. They really put on a good show for us here again tonight. Green Flag Racing, a lot of respect on the racetrack, like I said earlier, and just a wonderful job by all the drivers in this series.
Absolutely, and I honestly, with my final thoughts on this too, I mean, what else is there to say, guys? We literally have watched multiple times now, multiple passes, multiple ends. Like, and again, yeah, it was not easy to pass, but when the racing got good and you saw good moves, and there is still nothing like visiting and watching it live, but I could say without a shadow of a doubt, this was probably one of the best performances we've seen Champion Power Equipment in quite some time perform at their top level.
Absolutely, I can't wait to see the next time we're out here with these guys. What kind of show they can put on again? Maybe we can go 3 for 3.
Maybe we can go 3 for 3 indeed. Well, nevertheless, though, as we close the night off here, race fans, we want to say thank you for everyone here at Pizza Race TV, and a big thank you to the friends at Champion Power Equipment for helping the show and helping these guys out. It has been an honor and a pleasure to call for them, and it's been a fun time as well. From all of us here at Pizza Race TV, stay tuned for more action tomorrow. Venom Truck Series return to the show. They're going road course racing. Watkins Glen International is up on the lineup. We'll see what happens there, and then of course we will have some racing Saturday and Sunday night. Or actually Saturday night. I believe Sunday is an off week for everything. Actually, we do have some on Sunday. Excuse me. Shake and Bake will be back on the show. We'll see them at Road America. It's been a while since we've been there. So anyway, we'll sign off for now, race fans. Thank you so much for your support. We'll see you guys next time when the green flag flies on Pizza Race TV.